Hello, everyone. So this is not actually the webinar in Google Classroom that we recorded earlier today because we didn't actually end up recording it. It totally slipped my mind until somebody asked me where it would be posted later in the day. So this is a new screen recording, but I'm going to try and incorporate all of the information and even the same questions that were brought up during this. So without any further ado, let's get started. So you'll notice that I'm just on my regular Google splash page as I launched my browser, but you will notice my picture up here. It's because I'm logged in to my JeffersonUnion.net account. This is actually really important. A lot of people will ask, I thought we had access to Google Classroom. Where is it? I can't find it. And that's because they're trying to access it from their @gmail.com, their personal Google account, and that will not work. Unfortunately, Docs is free, Google Slides is free. You can access all of those tools. Google Classroom is only available to teachers that have access through the educational suite of Google products. So that is why you can only access Google Classroom with your JeffersonUnion.net account. To actually get to Classroom from here, though, you can do two things. One, let's go up to the waffle. That's what Doreen Boswino calls it. And you'll notice when I'm hovering over it, it says Google Apps. When I click this, I have all the things I use most frequently, Google Drive, Docs, all of that. And here is the icon for Classroom. So I can click that and get right there. Alternatively, the way Google sets up its URLs, so the address that you type in up here is if I wanted to go to Drive, I could go to drive.google.com. To get to Classroom, I'm going to go to classroom.google.com. And when I come here, it'll take me to all of my Google Classrooms. Now, if this is your first time using Google Classroom, you perhaps have nothing here. If you've used it before or been invited to other classrooms, you'll see them all show up here. This is similar to what our students would see. To add a Google Classroom or to create one, you're coming up here to the upper right-hand corner, and you'll notice when I hover over this plus sign, it says create or join a class. So when I click it, I have those two options. If I'm going to be joining a class, I'm going to be behaving more like a student, whereas if I'm creating a class, I'm going to be the teacher. So I'll just show you what it looks like when I hit join class. It'll ask for the class code. So I'm going to show you in just a second how to find that class code. So this is the classroom that we're using to kind of explore professional development with Google Classroom. So I'm going to click in here. This is the first thing that you see when you click into a Google Classroom. This is called the stream. So you can see up here. And right here in the kind of upper left-hand corner, we have the class code, and it's real tiny. If you want to make it bigger, you can hover over this little icon here. You'll notice it says display. If I click right here, it becomes quite large, much easier to see. This feature ideally was created for when you're first introducing your classroom in person to something like this to give access to all of your students, but this is something that you can copy and send out in an email to your students so that they can join. We'll talk a little bit more about joining a little bit later. So this is the stream. You'll notice there's things in here from the Google Classroom webinar that I gave earlier today. And actually, I've used this quite a bit. So there's actually things from all the way back in 2015 here. But this is all just my classroom assignments, materials that I've added, announcements that I've made. And really, if you just want to stop here with Google Classroom, you can do a lot. You notice this box right here that says share something with your class. When I click here, it gives me a lot of tools that I can already use. It asks me, well, what class do you want to post this to? It asks me what group of students or maybe a particular students. The default is always to all students, but maybe I want to choose just a specific group to announce a few things to. For an announcement, I can sit here and I can type anything. And I can just say post and it'll appear. If I go, oh no, crap, that's right, I wanted to add something to it, I can hit these three dots right here and I can say edit. I can also delete in this if I wanted to get rid of it completely, but I can say edit and I can come back and it's giving me the same window that it gave me previously before. Notice that it also has this little icon down here that says add. When I click here, this is going to be my ability to link something through my Google Drive, some kind of resource that I've created. If I want my students to all go to a particular website, I might include the link right here. A file, if I have a Google Doc that I want them to download and access, I can attach it through the file here. If I have a YouTube video I would like them to watch, I can click that. So I can attach any of it with my message and just make it an announcement through here and hit save. One of the other things that you might have noticed is that when I typed something here, next to post, it's got a little down arrow icon here. Now, when I click here, you'll notice it actually gives me some options. I can post it immediately. I can schedule it, meaning if I want to have all this set up, but I don't want to, set it up right now. I want my students to see it for the first time tomorrow at 9 a.m. I can schedule it to be posted then and but set it up the previous day so I don't have to worry about it that morning. If I'm working on something and I don't actually get time to finish, like, oh, I wrote my message, but I haven't linked in the text yet or the YouTube video, I can actually save it as a draft too, and that way it won't post to students, but it'll be there when I come back so I can continue editing and post it later. So those are all the features, and the good majority of what you need to do can be done right through here. Sending a message and communication to students, giving them a resource or a material. Students can actually comment back right here on whatever you post here. So if you had a question that you wanted them to answer, you could do it through that. We'll talk a little bit more about the settings for that in case you do not want students to be able to leave a comment. But yeah, a lot of what Google Classroom does, you can do it through the stream. Let's see what you can do though if you're willing and able to get a little bit more fancy with it. And to do that, we're going to go back up to the top here. So right now, highlighted, I'm in stream. I'm going to go over and hit classwork. And it's just asking me, I never actually posted that last little sample, so I'm going to say, yeah, no, I don't want to save that. So I come over here and you'll notice I already have some assignments here. A very long time ago, it was actually before I got married. I was demoing this and I said, what wedding cake would be best? I was trying to, I believe, decide at the time between an armadillo cake and a funfetti wedding cake. And I will be completely transparent. I ended up going more with this. Maybe it was the safe choice. And here was something when I was asking people to look at Yelp reviews and they told me what pizza to go and get. Good thing I didn't go to Slice House. And then just this morning, I was showing how to link in at-home learning resources and how you could share that with students, and even an assignment and what that would look like. I also have tagged each one of these as a particular topic. That means if I'm telling my students, I just want you to go in and look at at-home learning resources, they can actually click right there and just see these two. So it's a way to kind of keep more organized. So I'll show you how I did that. Going back into classwork, you have this button right up here that says create. And when I click that, it's going to give me quite a few options of things that I can create. An assignment, a quiz assignment, a question, a material, or to reuse post. So mostly what I did earlier today is I was just sharing materials. This is very similar to how I shared them before with the stream. But I'm going to give it a title. I can add something from my Google Drive. So this is going to show me my Google Drive. And I'm going to go and I'm going to look through and here is that spreadsheet with at-home learning resources. So I'm going to click in and add that. And then it's going to the right audiences. And then I'm going to either create a new topic, say that this doesn't have a topic, or put it under one of these topics. Topics is just a bucket to kind of put your resources in so that students can access them a little bit more easily and find them really quickly. So because this is, a spreadsheet of at-home learning resources, I'm going to link it in under AHL resources. Now I can come over here, hit the arrow next to post and see all these same things. I can discard this draft, I can save this draft, I can schedule it for another time, or I can just post it. That's what I want to do right now. And so you'll see I had actually posted that earlier today, but it's nested underneath the AHL resources. I can also create an assignment. So let's take a look at what this looks like. This might be the most traditional way that teachers use Google Classroom. When they click assignment, it's giving me a little pop-up of a new feature that you can access in assignments. This is going to look a little bit different just because this is going to be something where you'll get a grade file for each individual student once this is assigned. So you'll see that I called this last one Super Tough Essay. Let's say this is impossible. And it's so impossible, I'm not even going to leave instructions. But if I wanted to, I could. I could also actually add materials again from any one of these sources. So say the super impossible essay was actually an essay in response to a YouTube video. I could link that all in through the assignment as well. Over here, I can determine how many points it's going to be worth and if it's going to be graded at all. It could be ungraded. It's going to give me a due date. Let's make it due next Tuesday. I can nest it under a topic as well, or just leave it free. I can add my rubric, all of that, and then I can come over here and hit assign. Now it's going to give a notification to all these students that they have an assignment to turn in. Currently 0 of 29 have turned it in, of the students in my class. To see what this has looked for like in the past, when I had people try and tell me where to get pizza, I had 8 of 21 turn it in, and here are all of their responses and what they told me I should get. So let's see what Amanda Olson told me. She said, you should go to both because it'll make you happy. So right. Such sage advice from Miss Olson. If I wanted to see this a slightly different way, I can actually come back to the classwork. Oops. Tab up here. I can look at the impossible essay where I have 0, and I can look at it through here, and I can click and see the screen that we just saw, or I could click up here. Right here is where it says the class drive folder. So if I click into the class drive folder, it's actually going to open up my Google Drive, and you will see all the different folders of assignments that I currently have submissions for in this class. So Miss Olson's response that I just showed you, I can also go into this pizza assignment right here, and I can scroll, and I can find, where is it? I think she might have still been Flickit this time. Yes. Right here, and double click. And this is her exact same assignment. So you can actually find all of your students' assignments when they submit in these 2 different ways. So Google Calendar, this will actually put whatever assignment you have onto the Google Calendar. So if you go, remember I made the impossible essay due on Tuesday and that super tough essay is due on Thursday. This would really help if your students use Google Calendar. It'll actually put that on the calendar as well and send them reminders. Let's really quickly go through people. So we're back up at that center area. We go from stream to classwork to people. This is where all of my students are here. I can click all of my students and email them. I can remove them. I can mute particular students. I can select just one student and come over here and email that student. I can add the student by coming over the student tab, clicking this little person with a plus sign. If I hover over it, or actually, it'll say invite students, and I can start typing their name and email and invite them directly this way. One really last key thing that I want to show you is that currently in the stream, it'll show you whatever you've posted last, and students will often be able to come in and add comments. You can actually turn that off. So again, we're back at just that first main page. Go up to the upper right, click settings, and if you go down to general stream, students can post and comment. You can actually change that to students can only comment or only teacher can post and comment. I highly recommend changing it to at least one of these things, but it is up to you. I realized that this was an extremely quick thing, but I want to kind of keep it to 15 minutes, so thank you.